Group expressing outrage after an ABC7 Eyewitness News I-Team report this week. Video obtained from the I-Team shows San Leandro police officers struggling with a homeless man, driving him 7 miles to Oakland, then dumping him, to use their words.
I-Team's Dan Noyes is back now with the latest on the growing criticism for San Leandro Police. Dan?
Well, Kristen and Larry, I'm hearing from sources that San Leandro Police Chief Angela Averett is attending roll calls with officers and saying no one did anything wrong. But the body cam video shows what happened.
You're being difficult from that, right? So you're being difficult.
Monday's I-Team report is drawing strong reaction from the Oakland chapter of the NAACP.
That was very, very disturbing to me to watch what has happened to people, that you can be this callous and treat someone that way.
Retired Superior Court Judge Brenda Harbin-Forte investigates civil rights violations for the NAACP. She tells me that Shaquille Coleman should not have even been handcuffed during the December 2024 incident. San Leandro officers admitted he had committed no crimes, but they forced him into the patrol car, pulling out his braids, and drove him 7 miles into Oakland, dumping him, in their words.
They should not be hired by any other police agency anywhere. There needs to have been something done, and something that sends a strong message.
You're saying that these officers, those who were involved, ought to be fired?
In my view, yes. Absolutely.
Police Chief Angela Averett and Mayor Juan Gonzalez today again declined my request for an interview, but Gonzalez put out a recorded statement repeating that the city investigated and that the officers faced corrective action.
In other words, their actions didn't meet the standards of conduct and professionalism that the city expects of all employees.
The NAACP and other groups want to know the details. They want more transparency about how the city is handling the controversial case. That's the message from a news conference held by the Anti-Police Terror Project.
And I personally am tired of responding to this incident. When are we going to admit that policing as we do it does not keep people safe? That it in fact makes people, usually our most vulnerable people, less safe.
Recalled Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price also spoke. She's running for the office again.
And the fact that they felt like they could take this man, Mr. Coleman, and treat him like trash and dump him in Oakland is a crime against humanity, and it's outrageous behavior.
First of all, let's get something straight. Not only should those officers be arrested, they should be charged with basically kidnapping. They kidnapped that man and they imprisoned him, and then they dumped him in Oakland. They didn't dump him on the borderline of Oakland. They actually drove into the city 7 miles, and they were out of their jurisdiction. This wasn't a high-speed chase. There are so many violations of that man's civil rights. It isn't that he's looking at a lawsuit. He has a lawsuit and he will win. The people and the business owners that was in that establishment said he wasn't doing nothing wrong. They went over there. They were harassing him. And we all know the main reason. And it doesn't matter if a black officer was present. She sat there and let them clearly violate his civil rights. Okay? Let's not play these fucking games. Now, I know that area. You know, in case you guys don't know, if you're from the Bay Area like me, the area he was in is like maybe a 3-minute drive from the Oakland San Leandro border. I know where that plaza is too. It's right on East 14th. I know exactly where that place is. It's like some restaurants over there. In the back, it's like a bank. It's not too far from a Safeway, and Dave's Hot Chicken or whatever they call it. So I know exactly where he was at. They didn't take him like 3 minutes up the street to the Oakland San Leandro border. They drove 7 miles into Oakland, as they said, dumped him. The fact that they used that type of dialogue to refer to a human being says a lot about them. And of course, they're downplaying it. Now, keep in mind, this happened in December of 2024. And basically, no action was taken. And basically, they tried to basically just cover it up and do what they do. Now, we all know that people are going to make excuses We all know that certain group of people are going to try to justify their action. They are clearly in the wrong. And then not to mention they assaulted him. So he's looking at police brutality. He's looking at kidnap. He was kidnapped. Okay. No, it isn't if he has a lawsuit. He has a lawsuit, and he should file charges against those officers. Those officers should be fired, and they should have charges pressed against them because they kidnapped him. That's clearly what it was. Don't try to sit up here and play these fucking games. Okay? They admitted themselves that he was doing nothing wrong. And then for them to handcuff him. Okay, if you want him to leave the premises and say, okay, you're making people nervous. Okay, maybe you could say you could leave the premises. But you know, there were people that said he wasn't doing nothing. He was homeless. That happens every once in a while. And they don't know where this guy is. So, you know, they're trying to find him. I hope they find this dude. Because, yeah, he may be homeless now, but when this is said and done, he gonna have him a home. Plus more. So, you know, with that being said, I wanted to talk about this. And, you know, this needs to go viral. So with that being said, this your boy Town Biz. If I happen to see this dude, you know, I will do my part in helping him get to the proper people to start the process of a lawsuit. And he needs to file charges against those officers. That was flat out kidnapping. See, that's the word that they don't want. That's the word that they don't want to use. Well, I'll use that word. They kidnapped that man. Once again, they drove him 7 miles into the city. They didn't drive him like up the street to the Oakland Sand. They drove him deep into the city of Oakland and dropped him off. Way out of their jurisdiction. But anyway, that's all I have to say. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.